I felt like a hug right behind me, like coming up. You know when like someone hugs you from behind, like wraps up.
If young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. Beautiful morning, yeah, the sun in my morning, babe.
Good morning, everybody. Someone requested that I do my testimony, and I really wanted to put this video out here. So this is my testimony, how I got pretty much to where I am today. Please stick around. It's gonna be pretty interesting, and all of my Christian brothers and sisters out there, like, I think this will encourage you guys to keep pushing and keep progressing and keep pursuing what God has led you to do, you know? So I'm gonna just pretty much take from the beginning. I was born at the age of 0, pretty much, on April 16th, 2000, oh my goodness, 1996. I was born that day. I think it was like 6 or 7 in the morning. And I grew up in a church family, you know, we always went to church. I didn't really understand what it was though. Literally, when I was a younger kid, I used to think that the pastor was actually like Jesus for some reason. And I don't know, it was weird. I quickly found out that he wasn't. I don't know, it was weird. When I was a kid, I thought that way, which is kind of funny that I look back now at that. Yeah, so that happened as a kid. So as a kid, I was always really wild. My parents were always getting on to me. I was kind of like the wild child out of my 3 brothers. I do have 3 brothers. You guys always see Chandler in the videos. It was just like, I was the wild one. I was the one that was breaking windows, spray painting on walls, and like, I don't know, like always in the hospital for some I messed up on my body because I was like a skateboarder, or like, I still skate, but I don't skate as much as I used to. I used to skate every single day for at least 8 hours a day. Like, it was like a day job until I had to actually get a day job. Well, not a day job, but a job to take care of me before I like take on my full career, you know? And so I was always in the hospital, always like, I don't know, like I remember I broke my ankle at the age of 18, which is kind of fast forwarding a little bit, broke my ankle, and I really like, that was a turning point in my life, was when I broke my ankle. And that is a big jump from when I was a kid to then, but a lot of stuff happened after 18, so I'll jump straight to that. I broke my ankle at the age of 18, which like really crushed my dreams. My dream when I was younger, ever since I was born, was to be a professional skateboarder. And who doesn't want to be a professional skateboarder, you know? So I ended up breaking my ankle off of a 13 stair, I believe, and it was just like ridiculous. I did it out of anger. The whole story is, I went to a skate spot and I wanted to tray flip an 8 stair, and then we ended up getting kicked out, which I was like telling my friends like, yo, hold off the security guard, but none of my friends were wanting to do anything, like help me land this trick, you know? And I was getting so close to it. Like, there's Instagram videos of proof, like I was almost pretty much landing on the board. I actually didn't get to land it that day, and right after we got kicked out, I was like, yo, let's go to this spot. Like, nobody's ever skated it before, and it's literally like the hardest spot to skate because there's barely any run up. I ended up there's a cat chilling over here, but I ended up just like jumping off each step to get to the top to see how the impact would handle and everything. So I ended up doing that. I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna try it one time and then kick out. And then what kick out means, like, you just kick the board away and like try to land on your feet. So I ollie off the set and then I kick the board out, but before I even ollie, like the board's already like flailing in the air, and then I start flailing and then my legs go before my head like this, and that's just a terrible situation to be in when you're in midair, especially off that height. The set was taller than me. My ankle just literally rolls over, just like snapped, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I didn't even notice, like I was sitting on the ground, like I rolled out of it, and then I was sitting on the ground, and then I look up at my homie, he's like, yo, you alright? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I told him I don't know if I'm alright. So I get up and I'm like, holy crap, like I couldn't stand up. And then I pull up my pant leg, and then I'm like feeling my sock is wet, like soaking wet, and I pull down my sock, and then my sock is like literally bloody. Blood is everywhere. Like, what happened is their ankle's like this, right? And what happened is my ankle pushed forward like this, and the bone came out this way. And just thinking about it is like so nasty, but that's exactly what happened. So that ended up happening at 18, like really crushed my dreams, really hurt my faith. And I remember sitting on the ground like asking God, like, why God, why would this happen to me, you know? Little did I know that he was setting me up for like a beautiful future. It wasn't like he did it to me, it was like he did it for me, you know? Some of the things God does is so intentional, and you don't even understand what he's doing, but he's doing great things. And that's one thing that I've noticed after that, even like closely right after. I was like, the whole time during my broken ankle process, I was literally in crutches for a long time, and I hated it. But at home, I remember I was on bed rest for 2 weeks because it hurt. Like, it was excruciating pain when I would stand up and blood would rush down there. Oh, it hurt so bad. But I remember I was on bed rest for 2 weeks, and all I did was like play video games and watch cartoons, and I was like, oh man, that was like literally the best part of high school because I didn't have to go to school actually. But yeah, in high school I was very into graffiti, and then that's when I first got introduced into like an actual like presence of God, you know? I remember I was at a church service, and it was Wednesday, and it was like a supernatural experience I had with God, and it was so awesome. And I'm sure many of you guys have had supernatural experiences with God as well, which it's just like the best feeling. Like, having his presence is the best feeling, honestly. And is my voice super deep? It's because I'm shooting this very early in the morning and my voice doesn't seem to act right until I get later in the day. For some reason, I don't know, it's weird. But yeah, I'm at this church service and then all of my homies were with me, like everyone I skated with, and it was like a buttload of people. And I remember they had an altar call after service. We went into the altar call and I was like, I don't think I went straight out at first, you know, like when they call an altar call, you're like, oh, I'm not going out. And then they name something else and you're like, dang, that's me. And then you go out. It's kind of funny, but looking back, I'm just like, wow, I'm so glad I did this. I remember being at the altar call and church service was actually done by the time I was done at the altar, and church service was actually done like 10 minutes before I was done at the altar, because it was just like a great experience I had with God. I remember I was laying there and I felt like a hug right behind me, like coming up, you know, when like someone hugs you from behind, like wraps them around your stomach, like oh my goodness, it felt like they wrapped around and like was hugging my stomach. I don't know, it was just like the greatest feeling ever, and I never wanted to let that feeling go, so I was staying in prayer for the longest time, and my buddy was right next to me, so it was like a great experience. It was awesome. And that was when I first encountered God, like literally God. All the encounters that I've had already like are insane. And then that's why I look at people when they say God isn't real, I'm just like, how? It's because, I mean, when you seek him, you'll find him. That's the thing about it, and people don't want to seek him. I really seek after God like lately, and like I've just been growing so close to him, and I've been seeking after him, and I've just experienced all of everything that he does, and it's like all the promises that he promised us are like so amazing, and they actually happen. It's not just words on a piece of paper or words in a book, it's actually his word. You know, like when people keep their word, that's what it kind of means, you know, like he kept his word, he's keeping his word, and that's so awesome to me. Like I said, in high school, even after I was saved, I was always into graffiti and like skateboarding and like vandalizing. Like I used to be super crazy into Odd Future Wolfgang, like Tyler the Creator, all of them. Earl Sweatshirt, I used to bump him a lot because I actually have a poster of Earl Sweatshirt, or not a poster, a painting of him, and I don't listen to him, but I still have the painting because I like what he said about like the 2 white for the blacks and 2 black for the whites, but that was like something random. I used to listen to them a lot, and I used to think like vandalism was cool. I thought like being against the government was tight. I'm not for the government, but like I don't I don't know, I don't even want to go into that, but I used to think like all these things are so cool, like, oh, school sucks, like all this stuff is funny, because like, I mean, I honestly don't like school. I still think school sucks, but like I used to like advertise it heavy, like, yo, you shouldn't be doing this, you're gonna do that, like, and then like we'd vandalize into the school, like we put up posters around the school that doesn't go with the school, and like I remember I got called to the office about that, like, oh my goodness. And I was a good kid, but I just did bad things, you know, and there's so many good kids that do bad things, and that's one of those things that I was doing, you know. And I would get caught up with graffiti. Like I remember I got to the point to where I was graffitiing on people's houses, and I actually got caught up that time when I was doing it on people's houses, and then my dad found out. I'm pretty sure my dad found out. He never told me, but I'm pretty sure he knew, because he asked me one time, he's like, hey, who's doing all this graffiti at the skate parks and everything? And I was like, oh, like my friend did it. And of course my friend did it too, because he was doing it with me, but a whole big story. But it was just like, it was great times, you know. But there's points to where you have to grow up, not necessarily physically, but spiritually and mentally, you know. You really got to grow up and mature. Definitely maturity is major key when it comes to like, you're not physically but mentally, you mentally got to mature yourself. I mean, you can still have fun. I still have a buttload of fun, but I definitely matured myself throughout life. I mean, God just showed himself so much to me that I'm like never turning back. And now there's like another cat up here just like staring at me on the wall. After high school, I decided to go off to college like any other high school student. Like, oh, I'm gonna go to college, I'm leaving my parents, I hate it here, I hate when they tell me to clean everything, my room, and make my bed. I don't like that. So I left. I moved to Kansas City, and I was in Kansas City for 2 years, and then I was still going to church and everything, and I just did not feel connected to God, because I was going to a great church in Liberal, Kansas, where I'm originally from. I was going to a great church, and then I left that church. And if you're not like a spiritual person, like you won't know how it feels to like actually leave a church. It's actually like departing from your family and like move into a different family that you don't even know. That's kind of how it was, and I did not feel connected at all. So then I left them, added to this new church. I can't even remember the name. That's how disconnected I was. I don't even know the name. So I was going there. I just remember I didn't want to do anything for the church. I didn't want to serve in the church. I didn't want to do anything. Like, I was a whole bunch of talk. And then there was one time there was like this life event that happened, like, you know, when life hits you in the face and then things happen, and that actually shook me. And then I got back into partying. Like, I used to party in high school, so like I got back into partying in college, and that was the worst decision of my life. But like, I look back at those times, you know, and my humanly flesh is like, oh, those are like good times. But like, that really got me off track of what God really wanted to do for my life, you know. So we were partying all the time, me and my brothers, and like everyone who would kick it at my place. We just like throw parties every single weekend, like drinking and like I never smoked, but like we were drinking and stuff. And I actually did smoke in high school though, but I didn't bring it back, thank God, after like in college, because that could have ruined me. Actually, I did. What am I talking about? I smoked in college as well. Like, all these things hit me. Like, I want to be transparent with you guys so you guys know like what I've been through, you know. So I was smoking in high school and in college, but it wasn't like a pothead kind of thing. It was like, if someone was doing it, I would do it too. And thank God, like, he delivered me from that. Wow. I never want to go back to those days, because there's times where like you're confused and like you go through these like depression things. Like, I don't believe in depression. Like, I've never been depressed, but it's weird. Like, you get stressed out over like dumb stuff, like when you're doing this stuff, you know. I definitely got delivered from that, and I thank God every day for like getting me through, because if I would have been stuck in that, I would still be like, I don't even know what I'd be doing. But ended up being in a weird stage in Kansas City. Didn't get enrolled for school, back into school. And then we told our parents, we called them, we said, hey, we're moving to Arizona. And gave us 2 months before we moved back to Liberal for a pit stop. Stayed there for a month, and then we got all of our stuff and moved to Phoenix. And I actually, when I moved back to Liberal, my hometown, for just like a month, I got asked to speak at a church, which was an awesome experience. It was the day before I left, actually. It was actually a Sunday service, so I got preached at a Sunday service, which was awesome. I love doing that, and I'm really looking forward to whatever else God leads me into. Right after that, we bounced out to Arizona, came up here, and I'm telling you guys, Arizona has really rocked my world, and God really showed himself immediately and a lot. All of the friends I have, none of my friends don't go to church. Like, all of my friends do go to church, you know, and they're churchgoers, like, not just churchgoers, like Holy Spirit believing, like, I don't know, they're just on fire for God, and that's what you need to be around. If you want to surround yourself around people, surround yourself around the people you want to be like. Because if you want to be a millionaire, you can't be hanging around with a bunch of bums. You got to be hanging around with millionaires, you know. You want to be better than yourself, you got to hang around people that are better than yourself. And that's one thing that I've noticed up here. Like, all of my friends are like so on fire for God, and all of my friends are so prosperous. Like, we prosper together as a team, and like, it's insane all the stuff that God has done for us. The only reason he does it is because we're seeking him, and he seeks us as we seek him. And that's so awesome that he shows himself so much that when we show ourselves to him, you know. The stuff I've learned up here is insane. He's really just brought me really close to him. And right now it is 9 o'clock, so I really gotta speed up this stuff. Big thing is, like, I am on fire for God, and that's the only thing that matters to me. And I want you guys to know that, and I want you guys to ask me questions if you have any questions. And at this point, I just want to give thanks to all of my friends and my family, and the most importantly, I want to give thanks to God that he got me here safely. I couldn't have done it without him. He literally does everything for me, and I can't thank him enough. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully I got my word across, or my testimony across right. And I'm sure I'll make some more videos about my testimony, because I didn't even really go in depth. I kind of just beat around everything. But I'll definitely do story times on how God pulled me out of things, and I'll definitely share them with you guys. So hopefully you guys have an amazing day. Matter of fact, have a great day. Peace out. Most importantly, God bless every single one of you guys that are watching this video.
Beautiful morning, yeah, the sun in my morning.